All right, so welcome to episode 108. This is the eighth episode of season 3 of the Card Diary by Hobby S. Thompson. I'm your host, Danny Cards. This one is going to be called Center Stage Takes Center Stage with John Wee, CEO of Center Stage. I put Center Stage in that title so many times, and yet, right before pressing record for this episode 108, John was like, you know what? We don't have to talk about Center Stage. We can just talk about cards. We can talk about life. And that's what I love. I love the guests who certainly they have things to promote. They can talk about things like, I recently had a card show promoter where we were supposed to talk about his card show, and we just ended up, shout out to Ryan from Mid Atlantic Sports Card Show, but we just ended up talking about his collection and his, oddball stuff that he collects, and just him as a collector. So, John, I am so glad to have you on. I've been meaning to have you on for a long time. What can you remind me or the audience where do you think we first met?
I'm pretty sure it was the national in 2023. My wife and I were my wife was pregnant at the time with our first born son, so it was pretty hectic. But it was a pleasure meeting you. We did a lot of family pictures, and you were around there. We struck up some really good conversations. So
Yeah, I,
yeah,
I told I told people to take pictures of us like I'm part of your family. No, I'm just kidding. So for the people who are listening in audio, John Wee, he is Korean American, like I am. And actually, it's so funny when Koreans meet each other, we always do the whole like, "How old are you?" Like, we're not going to talk in like Korean honorifics, but I was born in '82. I know Topps 2025 Top Series One just came out, and their 35th anniversary card is 1990. So I was 8 years old in 1990. What Koreans always ask each other, "What's your age and what's your blood type?" Which is like getting so personal so quick.
yeah. Koreans definitely see a lot of significance and things like that. Well, luckily for you, like we're the same. I was born in '82 as well, so we're in Korean would be called 동갑. So
Yep.
yeah, we can talk comfortably to each other. But yeah, people wouldn't. This would probably go over people's heads, like in terms of the Korean culture,
It's okay.
unless
You
they're
know
just
what?
Squid Games or something, right?
This podcast is gonna be just for the Korean Americans. If people want to listen, whoever wants to listen, they can listen. But no, the reason I say that is because I thought you were 82, and yeah, there is
Mm.
definitely like a lot of respect that goes into like Korean culture with like your elders and all that, and Eastern, Western cultures just being kind of slightly different. But like I just kind of want to talk about that, just like your upbringing, like how you got into the hobby, what made you, again, like I know you don't want to talk too much about Center Stage, but you do this full time. You're a full-time hobby participant. Like you generate, like you we're gonna get to the decisions as to how it happened, but like you were like, you know what, life's too short. I'm gonna take the bull by the horns and I'm gonna do this. And I get like chills just thinking about that because I think it was just so awesome. So let's kind of like dive into it. Like, where where how did you, like, what age did you get into the hobby in?
Oh man, the age I was born in '82, so I went to high school in the late '90s, and that was kind of the a good boom era, right? Michael Jordan had kind of had his uprising, and then Kobe Bryant was coming onto the scene. So I was collecting in the '90s. I've told this story a lot, but like I've had a chance to meet Kobe Bryant when I was younger. We were actually in Korea, and he came out for a promotional tour, and we spent the weekend together, which was just crazy. I was translating for his dad, his mom, and he brought his cousin out too. So we spent the weekend together, and then after that, I started collecting all of his cards. And that year I met him. It was prior to him starting a game as a Laker. So he was famous, but he wasn't like as big as he eventually became. So unfortunately, after his passing in 2020, that's when I kind of dove back into the hobby, which a lot of people did. COVID was a big draw, right? But for me, like Kobe's passing was definitely tragic, and I keep my one of my favorite Kobe cards on my desk right here, which was like a card that I pulled when I was a kid. I graded it with Arena Club, friends with the company. They're great people. I'm not promoting them, but I'm just saying.
Hey, he's
Um,
Korean too. Ryan Lee. Shout
yeah,
out
he
to Ryan
is.
Lee. Yep.
Yeah, he's a legend, and I'm thankful to have him as a mentor and a friend. But yeah, this card is my favorite. And since then, I've kind of fallen down that rabbit hole. I've become a full time collector pretty much since then.
For the people who are listening just in audio, I think you showed, was that the 97 bronze finest Kobe
96,
or
97.
96, 97? Okay.
Yeah, finest.
Um and is that with the peel or without?
So I removed the peel. It wasn't stored in the best way, so it had kind of curled up on the edges. So I just
Yes.
very carefully peeled it. It was a very satisfying feeling. I don't know if people have I'm sure people have done that before too. So.
Only people our age. The youngins will never know. I feel like the vintage collectors will never know, or unless they kind of ripped some of that wax in that time. But I they're meant to be peeled. I'm sorry. Like I have a little bit of a, let's get into this a little bit. I am not team never peel or team peel. Like I have a really quirky little kind of in between, which is if it's a refractor, I want it. I don't mind it peeled. I want it peeled. It's beautiful. Like you use 90s refractors are the most beautiful refractors, silver hollows, whatever. Refractors just hit different than silvers and hollows, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then you got the base non-refractor. I don't mind that peeled, right? Because it just kind of has that kind of cool, the letters and the little plastic on the top, and so that's kind of how I am with that. Like, but you don't mind peeling everything.
No, I mean I kept it on for 20 plus years, right? But yeah, eventually when I discovered the card, it was one of those things where I went back home during COVID. My mom is out in Virginia, which I know you're based out of there.
DMV.
But yeah, I was just going through the attic, just going through different closets, and ended up finding my binder and boxes of cards, right? So the condition it wasn't great. There's a lot of heat and humidity in Virginia in the summers. So
Yes.
20 years of that definitely wore it down. But yeah, I'm not the biggest stickler. Like there are a lot of people out there who buy a refrigerator or a car and they have the screens with like little plastic on it. Like
Yes.
people,
Yes.
yeah, people like my wife, they hate anybody taking it off because they want to keep
Yeah.
it factory new. And it's always me just itching to just start peeling it from the corners or
Yes. I know exactly. I don't know. Is that a Korean thing? I don't know. Like, I've done that with microwaves. I've done that with like, like little electronics. Why? It can't just be me. I've seen this on the internet. There are so many of us who keep like the boxes for like Apple, iPhones, watches. Like, why do we hold on to this stuff? It must be the collector gene, right? I mean, we're certainly bitten by that.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. You're actually describing my wife too. She loves to collect all the Apple boxes. Well, I think it's been shown by some of the guys at the Collectors Universe that it's smarter to just keep it sealed in its packaging. Was it Kevin Linnane maybe that sold an iPhone? I
Oh
forget who it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
But it's better to keep
Um,
it new and unopened and unused, right? So
I
yeah.
mean, it's meant to be you. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's definitely, yeah. What was that movie, 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell, where it's like he's like,
Yep,
you
yep.
can't play with these toys. They're sealed and they're in
Mhm.
perfect packaging, and yeah. So, I just remember, oh my gosh, like did you pack pull that card? The one that you got what was that? Arena Club 10, grade 10?
Arena Club, yeah, I graded a whole bunch of cards with them. But yeah, I did pull it out of pack. I used to.
Wow.
In my high school, my childhood was a little bit rough. I didn't grow up in the most diverse area. So usually during lunch breaks, I was kind of relegated to just going to the library and just kind of reading magazines. And I'd always read, Beckett magazines or Sports Illustrated. Um, and yeah, I would save money on lunch, then go buy a pack with that money. And that's what kind of kept me going in the hobby when I was younger. So that's why I appreciate kind of being an adult and being able to buy a box here and there. Right? Not like Nat Turner level, but every now
Oh
and then.
yeah, no. Shout out to Nat Turner. That's insane what he does. But no, I remember like so I just recently did a case break of like premium stock hoops, which is like insane because I know like so many breakers do all that stuff, but I was like, I've never broken a case of anything. So for me to do that and make it an at cost break, it was really fun, and everyone who got involved, it was a lot of fun. I remember buying boxes in as a young adult, like in 2007, 2012.
Mm.
But I never thought about buying a box as a kid. Like that was like such a luxury. Like
Mhm.
I think similar to you, like I was growing up in New York City, but like didn't have a lot of money. My family didn't have a lot of money, had a little bit of allowance. And it was like before breaking and streaming, like if you wanted to be a voyeur and watch other people open up packs, it was at the LCS. Like if your
Mhm.
friends had money, you went and watched them break or rip open, and you would just watch them and sweat it and like cheer them on. So that was like the original, I guess, like breaking of stream room. It was like the LCS. But I remember the same thing with you. Like in high school, I had a LCS near my high school, and by that time I was in Florida, but I pulled a Allen Iverson platinum medallions out of 100, and it said like 98
Mhm.
greats on the side,
Mhm.
and I traded it away. I can't believe it. The person who wanted to trade with me like was like, I'll give you anything in my collection, just pick 30 cards. And when you're a kid, like I don't know, like I just thought, oh wow, like 20 to 30 cards for one card is a great deal. So I forget what, we looked at the Beckett and we looked at the high and the low and all that stuff. And I think I traded it for about like, it sounds so crazy nowadays because it was like literally an Allen Iverson Platinum Medallion out of 100. But like maybe 100, maybe $150 worth of cards. One of them being like a Stephon Marbury refractor. I thought at that time, like in the 90s, Stephon Marbury was like so awesome. And
He
of
was. He
course
was a big deal.
he was, but yeah, definitely didn't withstand this test of time. And it's pre Vaseline on his teeth and stuff like
I was
that.
just going to mention that. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. I was just thinking about that the other day. I don't know why.
Why? Hey, when you are a parent of a young child, you will have like sleep delirium from lack of sleep.
Yeah,
So
it's probably the
that's
Aquaphor. Yeah, we use
the
Aquaphor for
Aquaphor.
the diaper stuff, and it's pretty similar to that. Maybe that's what triggered the thought,
Maybe
right?
that's what it is. Well, so yeah, you're actually a good string of guests because so my last guest, episode 107, was with someone who has a baby coming on the way, a new show
Mhm,
promoter who has a baby coming in May. We're
mhm,
recording this February, and then the episode 106 was someone who is opening up an LCS and has like
mhm.
3 kids under the age of 5, and one being like a toddler or an infant.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about kind of like your family or life situation. Like you show him on your Instagram, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you have a little one. Like you said, your wife was pregnant in 2023 national. That is correct. That's when I first met you. You are like, how tall are you? Like 6'5"?
6'5" or so, yeah.
6'5"? Yeah. So you're hard to miss. And I was like, oh, like he someone told me, oh, he's a guy in center stage, and I was like, what is center stage? Which we'll get to in a little bit. But your wife was pregnant then, and how old is your son now?
So he actually just turned 15 months old just a few days ago. So yeah, we're super thankful. I mean, the guy is a tank. Like I wouldn't call him little anymore. He weighs 30 pounds now, so he weighs as much as most 3-year-olds. I think they're three and a half year olds.
Wow.
But yeah, like I think I shared with you then. I don't mind sharing publicly in terms of like my wife and I. I'm 42 years old now, right? So when it came to conceiving, it took us a lot longer than we thought it would. That's why we're so much more thankful to be
Yeah.
parents now, and we're just
Mhm.
cherishing every single moment. So, I may sound like a sap, but like I just remember like again, this is going to be so cliche. People have heard it before, but like
Please.
father changes people, yes, of course. But just like there's just moments where you just look at your son's face and I just couldn't help but cry like so many times, right? So
Yeah.
just so thankful. And in college, I was a Sunday school teacher for a little bit, teaching 2 to 5 year olds at
Mm.
a Korean church in Virginia. So I've always like loved kids, loved educating, teaching kids, and just yeah, so I'm thankful to be a dad now. Hopefully, there's more coming in the future. But my wife is a wonderful partner.
Oh. Oh man, we can't get. Yes, we are men. We can still have emotions. I love seeing that little kid grow throughout your Instagram. Like I always heart it. I always make little comments, and I'm always like just so like he's absolutely adorable. If people want to find you and I don't know, it's not card content because it's just I mean your stories are just your family, and it's just adorable. But you are John Wee, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that's
so
my name.
that and wait, you're not related to I've never asked this to you before, but you're
Mm.
not related to Michelle Wee, right?
It's kind of a long story. We are kind of very distantly related, not very close at all. Like we haven't spoken in decades, and it was a fleeting moment a long time ago. So our grandfathers were first cousins, and
Wow.
her grandfather was a professor of aerospace engineering at Seoul National University in
Mhm.
Korea. And
Best,
my
yeah.
dad, yeah, this is one of the top schools out there. And my dad was his student and also kind of a distant nephew of
Wow.
his. So
Oh,
kind of like it kind of weaves in a weird way. But yeah,
that's
distantly related, and just I guess we both happen to be 6'3" and taller, right? So,
that. Oh, is she 6'3"?
I think so. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
met
I
her when
knew
she was
she's
like eight
tall,
years
but
old.
that's
So
yeah,
yeah.
no, that's impressive. Yeah, I mean she really took the golf world by storm, and then I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but like I know Koreans love golf. I'm not a big golfer. I know some friends who are. They're just diehards. I think the hobby is enough for me. I think the cards are enough for me. But the women golfers are just. I mean, Seri Park is one.
Hmm.
Pak Seri is definitely one that I remember just
Hmm.
crushing it. and just there's so many on both sides. The
Mhm.
men's and women's game. It's absolutely impressive. Um,
Yeah.
you don't collect any
Even
other cards, do you?
no, unfortunately not. I
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah,
focus more on basketball and a little bit of baseball here and there. But,
yeah.
I should. I should.
No, it's alright. I don't even know. Like, I guess it would be like upper deck golf. I don't collect. It would be nice to have like a I don't know, like a random Andrew Kim or it's just something. But or Michelle
A
V.
Lydia Ko or something, right?
Yeah, yeah,
She's
just
Korean, right?
something.
New Zealand Korean or Australian Korean.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But let's see. Hasung Kim for I forget what is it, the Padres? I know he's or the
He was with the
Pirates.
Padres.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Jung Hoo Lee. He has a beautiful autograph. It's like a loopy Lee.
Mhm.
It just has. I love loops and autographs. That's like one of my favorite things. I'm a sucker for that. But those two, and of course, you and I both very much know when we were growing up, man, Chen Ho Park
Mhm.
he was like the man. Like he broke into, baseball as just like a badass. Like when he
Mhm.
did a roundhouse kick on that guy who charged him on the mound. I was like, that's such an awesome moment.
Mhm. Yeah, those are definitely the good old days. I mean, it's really cool to see Koreans coming out here with a lot of fanfare too. Right behind me, I have a jersey that's G-Man Choi right here. I just moved it to
Oh,
a new place. I still haven't really organized. I've to mount the TV and stuff. But yeah,
gotcha.
there's a G-Man Choi jersey. He's a good friend of mine. I was a translator for him about 15 years ago when he
Nice.
first came from Korea, and I worked for the Seattle Mariners organization for a few months. This is like right after grad school. The economy had
Oh,
collapsed.
yeah.
So I followed him and like I watched him slowly work through, high A ball to triple A to the majors. And I was with him when he got cut from the Yankees and just kind of going on that whole journey with someone, kind of like living with him, like kind of like a brother. It's definitely cool to see, but hard to kind of see him go through it, but really cool to observe, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of Koreans in Major League, a lot more Japanese players, I think, right now too. So
Yeah, I mean, they're crushing it. Absolutely. Yeah, Asian representation all around, definitely. Very happy for that. But the one right now that I've been collecting, like I gotta say, like I uh, g- go ahead. I want to look something up real quick before I show it on screen, or maybe I
Mhm,
won't show it on screen. But
mhm.
just tell me about just kind of like a little bit, so we do get a little bit back on track about just kind of like a little bit of center stage, because just so
Yeah,
we
of
can talk a
course.
little hobby shop talk. And I'm gonna go on mute and I'm gonna look for something.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I should clarify. Like, I'm happy to talk about center stage as much as like you'll allow me. I obviously don't want your listeners to feel like this is a very commercialized opportunity for me. I as a hobby founder, co-founder, I'm very thankful to have started Center Stage. It's a platform that's originated first so people can scan cards and get quick comps. So the same information that you would see on eBay or 130 Point, you'd be able to just scan cards and see it populate right away. Um, I think for us, we've been building towards a kind of a unified platform when it comes to other collecting activities. So whether it be marketplace features that we kind of want to take some of the like momentum on Facebook or Instagram and move it over to our platform is one thing because we can protect buyers and sellers by kind of mediating or moderating the transactions. But aside from that, we have a lot of like good partnerships with different companies in the space. So either we can work with them commercially so that they can use our technology, or on a consumer level we can refer users to other sites too. And we have a ton of traffic. We have a lot of people using the app, thankfully, and it's gotten better over time, but we definitely want to improve it even more. So if everyone is willing to give it another shot if they haven't tried it in a while.
Yeah, awesome. So I know there are some other apps where you can scan or take a picture. I think it's like Collex or Ludex
Mhm.
or something like that. So Center Stage is another one. It's free. It's available on Apple and Android, or just Apple?
Just Apple for now.
Just
Yeah.
Apple. Okay, so
Mhm.
if you have an iPhone and if you want a free scanning app, and you can scan up to how many a month? 100?
100 cards. Yeah.
100
Yeah.
cards
We
a
have some
month.
price tiers. Yeah.
Yeah, and so actually, yeah, so what I wanted to pull up was stats for Juan Cho and figure out where he is right now, because I know when you were talking about like A ball, triple A ball, I was like, where is this guy? I wanted to look it up, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna get to Juan Cho in a moment. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna go to the membership plans. And so this is your website. Again, it's more app centric. You just have a website with information. So here looks like membership plans. You have free, bronze, silver, and gold. So for the free one, You have 100 scans per month, and I think you and I've talked about it. It's not like 100% accurate. It's not. There's some cards that
Hmm.
just are not. I've tried it where I'm just like, there's some cards that are just so
Hmm.
they don't pop up really easily.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
Um,
I totally understand that, and I know a lot of people were frustrated to see us kind of release these pricing tiers or a paywall at all. But this is ultimately for survival, right? So we were fortunate enough to raise a little bit of funding, have some investors behind us, but times got a little bit harder. The economy kind of shrank a little bit. So for us, we need to get to break even as much as possible, right? So right now, people's kind of subscriptions right now are helping us are helping keeping us going, and that's the ultimate goal because we want to keep providing more technology to help.
so yeah, you're definitely not gonna be naming names. You're too kind for that. But like whoever is upset that there is a freemium model in this economy and in this world, you have 100 free scans. If you want more, you gotta pay more. What's the big deal? Like these people, it's like you can't make people happy in this hobby. There's so many people want to complain about everything. It drives me nuts. People, it's like you can you definitely can't make everyone happy. But look, more power to you. You got 100 scans a month for free if you want. That's a lot. So if you want more, you just wait a month, right, until the next month, or you did a freemium. And right now it looks like, look, the bronze is $5 a month. You get 50 more scans. $10 a month, it's 500 scans, and $15 a month, unlimited scans. It's a freemium model, people. Like freemium is like I don't. You have not paid me at all to say anything to defend you, but as a fellow Korean American in the hobby who's trying to make a hobby company go, like I'm just frustrated at people. There is a free version, folks. Just use the free version and be happy with that. I guess that's all I wanted to say about that.
No, I appreciate that. You're proactively defending kind of the
Yeah.
model. It's much appreciated. But I think for us, I think we just have to drive better to make the app better and more useful for collectors, and maybe
Hmm.
they'll kind of like see the fee as like a necessary thing that
Worth it. Yeah.
to keep us going, right?
So, okay, before we get to Wanbin Cho, so I wanted to ask you,
Hmm.
so what is Search Assistant? So, scans, collection, that all makes sense. Maybe let's talk about the monthly credit. What is this? Marketplace credit. What marketplace do you guys have?
Well, so we have a marketplace where any user can list cards, right? So
Okay.
the same process of scanning a card to check the comp, you can actually click another button to list it for sale and then add pictures and everything. So the listing process of a card should be less than a minute. It's really quick.
Okay.
But this is what I was talking about in terms of like replacing the activity that's going on Instagram and Facebook groups, right? Because a lot of activity happens there, and we just want to provide a kind of a card specific place for people to kind of have perform those activities, right?
Okay.
So yeah, we're working on it. And then the search assistant, again, like I mentioned before, we're just building technology that helps collectors kind of do their daily tasks, right?
Hmm.
Searching comps is definitely one of the most tedious things. I remember just typing everything into eBay and filtering it for sold listings and sorting it by it ended recently. It's a very
Yeah.
tedious and monotonous thing. So
Hmm.
we want to have it so that we have these search terms that we can kind of embed and just kind of automatically serve up to the user. So we're tweaking with it a little bit. We'll continue to improve it, and hopefully people will give it a try.
Awesome. Okay, so one more question out of this tier membership plans list. Monthly giveaway. It says here
Mhm.
for gold members, be entered into a monthly giveaway. What are you guys giving away on a monthly basis?
So when the first time we did this giveaway, we gave a Prism PSA 10 Wemby rookie, and then the second giveaway that I actually shipped out yesterday, it was a Prism Mosaic or Mosaic Prism Donovan Mitchell rookie PSA 9. It was a Trey Young 2019 center stage insert from Mosaic PSA 10 center stage because it's symbolic.
Nice.
And the other was like a PSA 9 Mosaic John Morant, just a base rookie. But
Okay.
we want to just keep increasing the prizes and making it worthwhile for people to hope to win these going forward.
Yeah. No.
For a
Awesome.
small company, right?
Hey, look, this is organic. I've never asked this to you. None of these are canned questions.
Mhm.
It's just me looking at the website in real time and just asking you these questions. So thank you for that. Maybe we will move on just because again, I didn't want to have you on just to be like, oh, this is a paid promotion or a sponsorship. Which I do plan. I want to talk to people. I want to talk to my audience about the difference between sponsorships, affiliate programs, all this stuff. Because I think people would find that really interesting. But before I do that, so let's get back to let's get back to Koreans in baseball, Korean representation. So look,
Mhm.
I'm gonna show the I wanted to know where he was. I literally Googled Won Bin Cho, where is he? So on my screen it says here, I knew he played for. He's in a affiliate for the St. Louis Cardinals. So I
Hmm.
have a bunch of his cards. I wouldn't say like I've sunk in a ton of money into him, but I do have like some cards that I've graded. Got PSA 10s. Like I almost am going for like I think the Bowman Inception Rainbow because I have like 5 of his cards. I have like 3 out of 4 printing plates and all this stuff. So
Oh wow.
he is playing for the Peoria Chiefs and High A affiliate. So he's a 6'1" outfielder from South Korea. I won't read all of this stuff, but yeah, he was signed in January 2022,
Hmm.
and I he's not getting out of A. Like he's the progression currently is not there. As maybe for these other highly touted 5-tool players, I guess. So
Hmm.
it looks like in 2023 he played in low A. 2024 he plays with the Peoria Chiefs. And it says here his skills: above average raw power, effective base stealer, quick first step, above average runner. It's funny. I maybe I shouldn't say that. I will go ahead and say it. I know his agent. Like we're not good friends or anything like that, but I know him from
Hmm.
Instagram. And I just I'm like I haven't talked to him in a while, but I just want to be like, all right, tell me what's going on with him. Like, do I buy more? Do I hold? Do I sell? Like, what's going on? But it's his client. Of course, he's going to be happy, and I think he's going for his own rainbows as well. So it looks like Cho. Uh, I don't know what it says here. They're just skills in future, could develop into a
Hmm.
regular with swing adjustments. I mean, yeah, I guess if he can kind of whatever it is, catch up to the pitch in double A, maybe he can move up. But right now he's still stuck in A. So
Well, baseball is really tricky, and I only played little league baseball in Virginia, so I didn't really play anything after that. No softball, no other sort of baseball experience, but it's hard. Like just witnessing it firsthand. Choi was drafted in 2009, I believe, and then I
mhm.
think he made his major league debut for the Angels in 2016 or 17 or 15. It's at least 6 or 7 years at the very least. I'm a little fuzzy on the math, but
Okay,
it took a long time to get there, and a lot of things have to go right. Right,
it's
your
true.
person's like that has your position at the in the show, I guess, if you will.
You need the
It-
opportunities, yeah.
yeah, you just need the opportunity. Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean this kid he's like such a handsome. Look at this guy. He's like a K-pop star. He's got the
I don't think that's an effective metric for baseball skill, but yeah,
yeah, that's true.
for stardom, I get it. I get it. I mean,
Yeah,
Jung Hoo Lee's a pretty popular guy, right?
that's
With the
true.
women. So
Right. Yeah. Let me look at this guy. Look at this youth, man. Look at these guys are like 20 years younger than us, John. Like this is crazy.
I
Giant.
saw that he was born after I graduated high school. That didn't make me happy to see. So yeah, I would
That's
have been fine
great.
without seeing that.
Right. No, seriously. So, no, I love this. I love the representation. I know we talked about Brian Lee. He's like the I guess CEO of Arena Club. And so you said like you have a good mentorship program or mentorship with him, right? And so
Mhm.
who else do you either look up to in the hobby or mentor? And also are there any people who you mentor that, any people you want to kind of like shout out up or down in your hobby life?
If we're calling it strictly hobby, I mean, I would say Brian is definitely one of like the biggest influences. Like he's so helpful and so generous with his time. We've had so many conversations and he's been so helpful throughout. So I can't imagine like having not met him. Like I'm just so thankful to be in his sphere. He's just a wonderful guy. He's a really cute son, really driven. Like his son is already an entrepreneur at heart too, Davis. So no, it's amazing. I've told Brian this. I just hope that my son Jacob can kind of grow up to be as astute as Davis is.
Oh,
But yeah, I think for me, I can share like other mentors I have in my life overall, kind of outside of the hobby
sure.
that I'm really proud of and thankful for. Prior to leaving my last job to go into the hobby full time, I was working at Logitech. So I was a professional gamer. I played Counter Strike 20 years ago. I ended up competing in tournaments. I played for the Korean national team in a couple of tournaments, and ended up retiring, if you will, in 2006. But this is before people made a lot of money playing games. So didn't make much. It wasn't very glamorous or anything. But eventually I joined the companies that sponsored the teams that I had played for. So Steel Series, Razer, Astro Gaming, these companies I worked for a long time and built up a good, decent career kind of working in customer experience. So at the very end, right before I left, right after kind of getting through the COVID surge, working for Logitech, as you can imagine, everyone was going to work from home. So everybody wanted webcams and microphones and headphones and things like that. So the e-commerce rush was just intense. So, so thankful to get through that. But um, yeah, thankfully, like I became really close with the CEO of Logitech at the time. His name is Bracken Darrell. He has since left, and now he's the CEO of VF Corporation. So that's Timberland, Vans, Dickies, the North Face, kind of a lot of brands that people are familiar with. And even to this day, like he and I see each other every single week. We play basketball together, which is like one of the most fun things. And he's been so helpful. Like he's such an amazing leader. He's turned around companies from going down to the bolts and building them back up. So thankful for him, and I'm just trying to follow in his footsteps to kind of be a good leader. And I think I'm still falling short. I think that's how you want to feel, I guess, every single day.
That's awesome. This basketball game that you do, because I'm so envious. Like, I'm not envious of many people or things in the hobby or like in life, because I feel so grateful for my own. But the fact that I remember you told me in one of our calls that you play 4 times a week, you play pickup. Or I guess it's not pickup because it's an organized. It's not a league with referees and scoreboard, but
Mm.
like you have a regularly scheduled game for you play 4 times a week. I haven't played 4 times in a year
Yeah,
recently.
no, I'm very fortunate, and I think I mentioned the whole professional gaming part. The other part I didn't mention then is at that point I had gained 150 pounds after high school and college. So um, yeah, if I don't do any physical activity, it's not going to be good for me for my long term health. So after losing that weight, just to kind of keep it off, I need to play basketball. But you know what? Like, there's other ways to keep weight off. I understand, but basketball is just like one of the most fun things. Like I
Oh,
can imagine networking wise. Like I've met some of the most amazing people through basketball. My co-founder and I actually met through basketball originally. So um, maybe Center Stage wouldn't even be here if I hadn't played basketball. And some of the investors that invested in our company also I knew through basketball. So I'm very fortunate. So yeah, it's a good journey. I hope other people embrace the sport and continue to play it. Just try to
it's
move people away from golf. That's what I'm
it's
trying to do.
it's the most egalitarian sport. I mean, I know it's great to play 5-on-5 or 3-on-3, but like the fact that you just need a ball, you don't even need a rim to just practice dribbling. Like it's equal access for everyone. That and soccer, the most egalitarian sports in the world. If you want to play baseball or football, you need to get organized. You need to get
Mhm.
parents and adults involved, and you got to get like just field access and all that. I mean, think about how many basketball courts there are with like maybe some of them have like terrible rims, but the fact that there are so many courts out there, I think is great. So, but you mentioned you have a partner. So, I mean, I already knew this, but if you want to share with the audience, so you and Sumin met on the court, like, so is this like a 50-50 thing? Like, how do you like how is Center Stage with the both of you?
Well, I mean, pretty much, yeah, we split equity in the company. Proportionally, we have some other members that also started the company off with us as well, and then investors have come in since then. But in terms of, my luck as a founder, like I've been so fortunate to have Suman as my co-founder. Again, I worked in the corporate world, for 15 years before kind of going into this. So I didn't know a lot, and as much as I would try to like learn, studying up, like there's just so many gaps, right? And Suman was fortunately a lawyer at a law firm called Wilson Sonsini, which is one of the most prestigious law firms in Silicon Valley. And he had advised companies from startups to all the way to a public IPO. So he had kind of been through the gauntlet and had so much just wisdom and experience. And when I approached him to kind of talk about starting a company together, he um, without hesitation, he was, just eager to do so. And then eventually, when we started raising money and got people to commit to invest, we both quit our jobs to go full time at the Center Stage, and that was 4 years ago. So
I mean,
yeah.
not to speak for him, but like I did want to ask because you mentioned just earlier that how impactful like Kobe's death was for you to just be like, life is short. I'm just gonna go for it. Like, was that did Kobe mean as much to Sumin as well? Like, did both of you kind of were both of you like, oh, like playing pickup ball, and like the next week you're like, oh my gosh, Kobe passed, and like everyone's just like really down and sad about it, and like were a lot of people kind of like thinking about doing that thing that they've been talking about forever?
Well, you know, like his passing, Kobe's passing wasn't necessarily like a trigger or anything like that. It was just kind of something that helped snowball it, I think, in the end. I know Suman was a Lakers fan growing up. He was more of a Magic Johnson and Kareem fan, and then eventually everyone loved Kobe. But no, I was like a Kobe fanatic, and I'm not the biggest Lakers fan now. I mean, Luka having gone to LA is definitely intriguing, but it's weird to root for the Lakers if it's not Kobe. But yeah,
I
I'm
feel
trying
like
my
the
best.
I feel like the only person who can eat more Korean barbecue than me is going to be Luka Doncic. Um,
No, no,
he's
I can definitely. I've you know when
we're
I was
gonna have
350
to
pounds, I was known to be an exhibitionist when it comes
that.
to eating. So I've had. Have you even gone to Fuddruckers before?
I have gone to Fodder. Are they still around?
I don't know. I know they're in Virginia. I haven't seen one
Okay.
in decades, but just
Yeah, because
for the
In and
audience,
Out. Yeah. So what about
they,
Fuddruckers?
well, they always had this challenge where it was a 1 pound burger and
Hmm.
fries, like like a heaping of fries, and there was a challenge that if you ate the whole thing, it was free.
Uh-huh.
And when I was at my highest weight of 350, I ate two of
Ooh.
them.
Oh my gosh.
So the entire wait staff came and watched me because they were in awe. But kind of cheated. I didn't eat all the fries. But still ate the burgers.
That's 2 pounds of ground beef with the with the fixins and the buns. That's no joke. That is no joke. Um, No, I know In and Out is a huge thing over in the Bay in the West Coast, and just go back to Korean barbecue. Quarters is like my favorite. I There's a lot of good Korean restaurants in this area, but the best Korean food in the entire world, people don't know this. It's not even in South Korea. It's in LA.
Yeah. I agree with that. Quarters is definitely good. There was a place called Gangwon-dong Baekjeong. I guess in English it's just called Baekjeong. I heard they just closed and moved out of that plaza right across the plaza from Quarters. Oh man, but yeah, it definitely
We're
has
go-
the best Korean barbecue. But you know,
we're
like
gonna go.
Annandale and Centerville still have a ton of good Korean
They
food.
do. I was
So
just there for Tops to open up a hobby box of 2025 Top Series 1. I know you said you're more basketball, you do a little bit of baseball, but I was there and I did have, you know what's funny though? I had pho. I did not go for Korean food. I wasn't feeling it right then and there, but I got some pho, got a haircut, got some fun, ripped up in some baseball packs. I was like, there's no better thing. So, but yeah, Korean, there's all you can eat barbecue places in my area, and I feel lucky. It's not like living in like nothing against like Alabama or like Mississippi, but definitely love my Korean food in this area. And I would love to have some Korean food with you down the road. But you're in the Bay Area, right? You're not in LA. You're in California, but you're in the Bay Area.
yeah, it's about a 6 hour drive
Yeah.
from to and from LA. But but yeah, I don't make it down to LA often as I should. So I need to
You know,
though.
you know what's so crazy? I bristle as a person who lives in the DMV. I will not even cross the bridge to go to like Maryland, Southern Maryland, because I feel like it's another state, and it's only 15
It
minutes
is.
away. I
Yeah.
know, and then you guys, people in like the West Coast and the Midwest are like, oh, Chicago to Cleveland, that's only like 4 hour drive, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like round trip and then pit stops, and like I'm just like that's not like a easy thing, but so many people outside of the DMV or like the mid Atlantic or the Northeast are just like oh yeah, like that's an easy drive. And in my head I'm like I'm thinking about all the logistics and how much I would struggle with it.
I think once you become a parent, traveling is also kind of it doesn't seem worth it, right? So
Yeah, no, that's true. So you have a 15-month-old who is the
mhm.
size of a 3-year-old.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
um I am going to actually I don't have a lot of like branded like Denny card stuff.
Well,
Like
you sent us a Wednesday last year, so
I
he
was
wore the
gonna
Wednesday a few times. Yeah,
I was gonna say so
yeah.
he's grown out of it.
Oh yeah, I think he wore it twice. He just kind of flew through the sizes. Like he was wearing like
Yeah.
3 months clothing, and all of a sudden he was wearing 1 year, and a lot of
Yeah,
clothes
I
that we bought just didn't work.
I made them for, I have a godson who I can't show anymore on Instagram because there are people who are doing some weird stuff online. But
Mhm.
I sent one to you. I sent one to Geo for his baby, Mike Geo, Sports Cards Nonsense. So
Mhm.
I got to have him on the podcast soon too. But yeah, I think you two were standing next to each other because like you guys have played ball. Not at like Culture Collision, which you have played ball at Culture Collision, I think, but
Mhm.
you've played ball against Trike, Geo, Slapstrong, Tim. Like you guys have all hit the
Mhm.
hardcore, right?
Yeah, no, we played in those like 3-on-3 tournaments at the Culture Collision show in Atlanta. I lost once in the semifinals, and then we won one year a couple of years ago. So very thankful to have that. I actually have the championship ring on my desk right now. It's the Culture Collision.
Oh,
So
so you have okay. I'm sorry.
yeah,
So there's
yeah.
this there's a star card game, which is like the charity at the overtime
Mhm.
elite, the 5-on-5.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
you
didn't
also
play in
have
that
the
one.
yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So you played in the 3-on-3 tournament where it's like a I don't know if it's like round robin or whatever, but that's the one with the prize.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they had a
Uh,
cash prize last tournament, but because I had Jacob, we haven't gone in a while. But
Gotcha,
it was
gotcha.
a fun tournament. It was like in the corner of the card show. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
It was a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
fun.
yeah. No, I went last September and it had to be canceled. I forget for what reasons. Like there was some sort of issue with the referee or some sort of like thing going on. But I
Mhm.
would love to go there and again in the future. I wasn't able to go in this past January last month, but it's definitely if you're gonna go out there and I'll be there, that'll be a good place because I think Atlanta does have some Korean restaurants. But
Oh, Atlanta
no,
has a
but that
ton too. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but things definitely change. Like I've said this to other people, I'll say it to you. I mean, I've said it to you privately, but like, just the time does fly. It's so great that you are taking moments to like look at his face and just admire it because like just the classic cliche, but I gotta say it because it's so true and people listening will either roll their eyes or get a little bit wistful, but that the days are long, but the years are short, man. They really are.
Yeah, no, no, time's flying by for sure. And I think for me in my circumstance, and I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I lost my dad when I was 19 years old. Right, and that's what precipitated my weight gain and all the gaming that I did. So I didn't get to have a father-son relationship much in my life, and now I just want to maximize this as much as possible. So it's been a life-changing event, like I'm sure for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I have a
Did
lot
you
to learn though.
Did you collect with him?
Oh, my dad? No, no, no. He was an academic, right? So he had done his PhD. He has 2 masters from some of the top schools, and he didn't partake in sports or anything fun. He,
Or anything fun? He had no
yeah,
hobbies.
no, I mean he played
Sounds like
tennis, he played golf and stuff like that, but like he wasn't the most communicative. He
yeah.
wasn't the most expressive. Right? He's kind of traditional, kind of hard nosed Korean, just hard work and have your nose in the books is what he wanted everyone
Are we brothers? Like this is my dad to a T.
to
Like
do.
my father academic did like I didn't collect with him. I didn't I don't know how I have to it makes me wonder like how do you and I have these collector genes? Like they're sometimes they're passed down, sometimes they're just obtained or acquired, sometimes with friends who collect around you and things like that. Like you definitely had an awesome, I guess, catalytic moment with like um meeting Kobe and like, just being like awestruck or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I didn't collect with neither of my parents collect. They didn't kind of like you were talking about how your dad like he, you know, like I don't know my dad's hobbies. Like I mean, I know he liked table tennis, but there's no like
Mhm.
you don't watch it on television. You just kind of play it, like kind of like bowling. I guess bowling did have like Pete Weber, but you know what I mean. Like it just isn't like it's a leisure activity.
Yeah, my dad used to do this thing of watching TV. So there's a Korean. I don't. Is it Korean Paduk? I don't. Is that a Korean thing or is that like a adaptation of a different
Um,
culture's game?
I, I've there are different variations of it. I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Well, I mean, just for people listening, like for context, it's like a beige board that's square. It looks like a chessboard. Then you have all these like white and black pieces that you
Like
put on a chessboard with way more quadrants or something, right?
yeah, like a Othello. I always thought it kind of looked like Othello, but it's not. But yeah, no, I'm gonna show it on the screen once you
Okay. Yeah,
have
my
it
dad would
team.
watch that for hours on TV, and it was like the most. It's like watching people play chess. I know chess can be exciting, I know, but I just like, the meta of it was not that entertaining. That's what my dad was into. So
They're calling it Paduk Go. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, I gotta show this on the screen. We're going total Korean on this. Why not? Look, I have the platform. People stop listening, they can stop listening. Go. It's literally just called Go. The game is called Go.
oh wow.
But if you see on the right hand side, like I always thought, you get the white on the end and you flip all the black. That's not how it goes. That's Othello. The Go is different. 19 by 19. I didn't realize that much, but yes, they play this on Korean televisions, like in a separate channel from StarCraft, because I definitely got sucked into StarCraft as a kid.
Mhm.
Um, but it's a one-on-one game, and you have to fence off more territory than the opponent. It was invented in China, so yeah, I thought it was maybe like a Chinese game.
Yeah.
I forgot it was called Go, but Paduk is how they say it in Korean, or Paduk. And yeah, you
Well, I
got the
was not. I
stone
was not culturally appropriating it.
appropriating.
Yeah, I said it may be an adaptation or something. So I'm glad
You're getting
covered
canceled.
it.
Did you know that when you came on this podcast, you're gonna get canceled just today?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
watching myself as much as I can.
yeah, yeah. Compared to chess, Go has both a larger board with more scope for play and longer games, and on average, many more alternatives to consider per move. I wonder if IBM has created a Go computer opponent that can beat like the best Go player in America in the
Oh, I'm
world.
sure. I'm sure some companies definitely done that for
Yeah,
sure.
ego, Japanese word ego. Okay, interesting. So, all right. Well, Go is welcome to the podcast when we talk about Korean board games such as Go or Paduk.
We've kind
Um,
of gone off some tangents. This is
uh,
fun. This is fun though.
big time. No, I love this. Yeah, how do you win this game? Okay, middle phase is most combative. Usually lasts for more than 100 moves. Okay, that sounds crazy. The end game is marked by a few features. Near the end of the game, play becomes divided into localized fights that do not affect each other, with the exception of co-fights. I didn't even know what that means. Central area of the board. Um, the end game is, yeah, you just have to have the biggest territory, I guess. So, yeah, I have seen old Korean men just stare at a television with just this on the screen, and I'm just
Yep.
like, what are you guys doing? But you know what? I mean, more power to them. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm turning into an old Korean man here. So um
It's a lot of rules. I am.
this is so long.
I
Look,
never
we're
took the
not
time to
even
learn it. So yeah.
yeah, we're not even halfway through this Wikipedia page. There's like look at all of this. This is crazy. All right, I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna go back to our screen. Um what have we not talked about? I mean, I want to have you on again in the future. This is so much fun. I really enjoyed the conversations we've had before, and we've had a talk with Sumin too, and we've had a one-on-one, and just hearing about just like your life story and just kind of like I feel really inspired by it. I don't think I'll be able to kind of have that moment where I'm just like I can do this full time into the hobby, but I really admire you being able to do that. I know you're I guess we've gone down this rabbit hole because of the whole like, you sharing your father's passing and all that. But I know it happened a while ago, but it clearly, I'm sure, he's looking down and just like so proud of you. Like I think it's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you're too kind, man. That means a lot. And yeah, just trying to live as best I can, and just be a good dad and a good person. But I think overall, in terms of what we're doing with Center Stage, we just want to make sure that people find value from it. And yeah, obviously, would love to hear feedback from other users as well. So please feel free to message me anytime if you have any questions or comments or suggestions. Um, but yeah, I think right now we want the hobby to win. We want more collectors to collect. We want younger people to be collectors in the long run, because this hobby should thrive going forward, right? So that's the goal.
Yeah. And I think you and I talked about this earlier, and I'm sorry if you already mentioned it, but I just want to highlight how many users do you have per month? Like this is not like I know it's kind of like a startup, but like it's not like you have like hundreds of people using this app per month. You have how many per month?
I probably shouldn't share it publicly. It's in
Oh,
the
you
tens
shouldn't.
of
Okay.
thousands or low hundreds of
Ten,
thousands.
tens of
So those
thousands.
are
Yeah.
the,
We'll
yeah,
just say
active
that.
users.
You have
Yeah, yeah.
five-figure number of users per month. So we won't get into the exact number. Like, I don't want you to share anything you shouldn't, but we're not talking about an app that's used like infrequently by like just a couple of people in their mom's basement. We're talking about like many people using this app already. And so maybe you're listening to this and maybe you clicked on this because you already, you use Center Stage and wanted to know more about the founder, but or the CEO. But I'm rooting for your success. I will use it more. I know in the past we've talked about it. Just I want to just kind of like, I don't know, like there is a way to kind of like help your features out, right? By saying like, was this helpful? Like, was this image the image that you that matches that does identify the card, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
And so
yeah.
that helps that helps your not simulation, programming or whatever it is.
Yeah, computer vision models. Yeah, I mean, just any sort of activity definitely helps. But we have our engines kind of roaring every 10 minutes, I believe, and we get all the new data. We ingest it, we incorporate it into our app, and it's a constant work in progress. And then, if you don't mind, I just want to just send one quick shout out. You had mentioned mentors in the hobby. I didn't answer the question fully. We talked about
It's all right.
Ryan, but Dr. Beckett, Dr. Jim Beckett, he's been really wonderful. We've had so many good conversations, and he's been so helpful in kind of giving advice that we've implemented. And I think he's a legend. So I'm so thankful for our relationship that we have together as well. He is thankfully a big user of our app too, and I've walked up behind him and caught him at shows using our app, and it's like one of the best feelings, right, where he finds utility out of it. But yeah, I'm hoping the Beckett company can also turn things around. But I just wanted to add that tidbit. Yeah.
This podcast is not sponsored by Beckett. No, I'm just kidding. I have definitely made jokes at the expense of Beckett as a grading company. Mainly, like, look, I grew up with the magazine too. I do think there's an importance. Look, like we're Korean, like history is important to us. The past is very important to Korean people, in general. Not speaking for everyone, but just as a generality. And so I revere the name Beckett, but I've also made a joke online where if you have an AOL account or if your email ends in AOL, you revere Beckett. If it's Gmail, you love Beckett. If it's Hotmail or like if it's like something younger, if it's Snapchat, like you don't care about Beckett. I just feel like these younger collectors, it's great that they may want to use your app and they might want to, let's bring in the young kids into the hobby. But for young kids who have no nostalgia or what emotional attachment whatsoever to the name Beckett, and just think of it as a dinosaur name and just like this is historic, this is old, kind of like a 52 mantle, then to them it doesn't matter much. But for guys like you and me, it matters a whole deal. It does.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I think with Beckett, they've definitely had their kind of speed bumps down the road. But I mean, in terms of like the quality of the slab and kind of like the way it looks, the feel of it, I think it's just better. It's a little thicker. It's more, the whole Jurassic Park thing where it's like if it's heavy, it's expensive. I guess it has kind of that sort of thought process behind it. But no, I think the hobby for it to thrive needs to have multiple competitors in the space that are doing all well. I think if there's just one, then um, it's a concern. So.
That's true. Yeah, competition is good for the consumer for sure. And so, yes, perhaps the news of the deaths of Beckett are highly exaggerated. We'll see. We'll see what 2025 has in store. It's going to be a very important year. I mean, with Fanatics getting the licenses for basketball later this year in October, and then for football for next year. We talk about we need competition. I mean, Fanatics is supposed to, so Fanatics is supposedly going to be taking over everything. They're even making card sleeves and protectors. Like I went to my LCS and I saw they had top loaders and binder pages. I'm like, that's Ultra Pro, that's BCW, I've never seen a hobby card company make their own plastic sleeves.
Yeah, they are a monster coming in, right, with vast resources. So I like a lot of stuff that they've done for sure, and they've definitely made some missteps as well. But I think it's good to draw attention to the hobby, right? So there are some
Yeah.
unfortunate things here and there, but I think yeah, more competition is better. So yeah, hopefully Ultra Pro BCW survive and thrive
Yes.
too. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a big tent. There's so many participants. Again, Center Stage. I really like what you guys are doing, and again, we just need more innovation, more, like I know this isn't AI, like the scanning, but like, we're getting to a point where we do use our phones for everything. And so if there is a quick, easy way, maybe not always free, the first 100 scans are free, but like if we can have a cheap, quick, easy way to accentuate the hobby, time is money. Comping does take time. Like if we can make it quicker, like what is it called, like less friction points,
Yeah.
or more liquidity or whatever it is, like I think that's fantastic. So and information, knowledge is power, right? Cliche GI Joe stuff, and like, but with Beckett, um people love the information and the pricing information, and now we live in a world where everything, all of it's like a level playing field.
Hmm.
LCSs in the past used to have so much power, right? Like they used to have all the, like they could easily kind of, like if they wanted to, take advantage of the regular consumer. And nowadays, like, LCSs and vendors at card shows and consumers, public, people who are just collectors, like it's a much more even playing field. Maybe not exactly equal, but it is a much more even playing field.
No, I like that phrase. The playing field, evening out, is definitely important. If I can just add one distinction, and this is probably going to be a little bit too technical, I do want to share like one slightly different about Center Stage kind of versus the other companies.
Please.
And you mentioned innovation, and you kind of had a question about the AI thing. With Center Stage, a lot of users who have used it before will notice that like we don't have the traditional function of you don't take a picture of a card and you don't like wait for that card to get sent to a server, right? That's kind of the traditional reverse image search that's been popular for like the last 15 years, right? So
Mm.
a lot of companies have done this, right? Kind of our technology is very different in the sense that when you're looking through the camera viewfinder with our app, it's actually detecting cards in view, right? And at that moment, it'll actually draw lines around the card, take a quick snapshot of it, fingerprint it, and then it'll search our server for that card, and then the comps will return for it, right? So the amount of data going back and forth between users' phones to the cloud, if you will, is very minimal. It's a quick search query, right? As opposed to other apps, you're sending a 5 to 10 megabyte image file to a server, and the processing is done on the server, right? So
Yeah.
it's different in terms of like where the action is completed. But another thing too is, again, I'm not insinuating any company does this, but if you're sending a picture and sending it to a company, there's a lot of data that they can get from customers. So for us, we wanted to be mindful of people's privacy so that when people are doing searches, these are just text strings that are like
Yeah.
undecipherable.
Yeah.
So we have the customer's privacy in mind right now, but of course, if people list on the marketplace, it's a little bit different. But I just wanted to mention that, right? So a lot of people who have used Center Stage have always talked about how when they're at a busy card show with no network connectivity, they're still able to get comps for cards,
Oh,
while
wow.
other methods you can't. Like text search on eBay, you might not be able to because you're still loading all those images. But for this is like a very
Oh,
quick one. So that's a distinction I just wanted to share. It's, to a lot of people, that's probably like unnecessary, but I just want to share it because that's a pride point of ours. Who kind of
absolutely.
started the company. So.
I just lament the fact that we got to this near the 1 hour mark. We like back ended the most important points about Center Stage. I hope that people who stayed until the end really got some good value out of that. For probably for like Instagram or for some short form reel, I may have to like cut out what you just said to make it like more to highlight it, because I think that's a really good way to put it. We all know, we've been to all these shows where the internet connection is not the best, and maybe
Mhm.
like you said, like the image, like it's not 100% accurate, but if you're able to glean any information quickly and without having your privacy or any data potential issues, like I think that's fantastic. So I hope that people who listen to this far, kind of, again, 100 free scans, like you haven't told me to say any of this stuff, but I'm just trying to support you and trying to lift you up. And I don't know, just by having you here, like I just wanted to have you on board, because we've been talking about this, I guess, almost 2 years now. Because again, I met you in not the National in Cleveland in 2024, but the National
Mhm.
in Rosemont in 2023. So it was long overdue. I really enjoy our chats. I want to keep having more chats with you, and I don't know if people the same age in Korean can be mentors of each other, but like I definitely I'm learning a lot from you for sure. And you are you're just a good dude, and I've said this about my journey in 2025. I just want it to be about awesome experiences, cool cards, and good people. And you're good people, John.
No, Denny, that means a lot. I really appreciate that. I just want to say how much you know, I don't want to shower you with compliments necessarily, but like I
Please,
really
no.
admire your like I'm an introvert at heart. You know, I grew up shy. I was bullied a lot in high school, so I grew up shy, and like it's hard for me to get out of my shell. And like I think kind of seeing you in public and just being so open and friendly and chatty and witty is definitely refreshing to see. And I think Asian Americans in general typically tend to be a bit quieter or soft spoken. So I think it's good to see you be that way. And you know, I would hopefully be able to strive to be same, do the same. Right. So
Oh man.
kudos to you for having that energy and drive.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That really means a lot. I don't know where it comes. I mean, I am a natural introvert. I really am. Like when I go to a card show and have a great time, I come home and I'm drained. I tell my
Mhm.
family, don't talk to me. I'm like overstimulated, but it is a lot of fun. I do try to just share. I think at this age, again, just to kind of like maybe bring this home, like I just want things to mean something. Like I feel like I'm in this hobby for some reason to just share my story and just again have it resonate with some people. For some people, they don't care, and that's fine. I'm not going to be for everyone, but for the people who do, who have found me or will find me, like I just hope that they understand. Like I'm having a great time, and I just want people along for the ride. I mean, that's really what it is. Like people can say whatever they want about clout chasing this or influencer that, whatever. I know my true heart, and I know the people who know me know my true heart. And again, like I really appreciate you saying that because that like validates what I'm doing here, I think.
Yeah, awesome to hear. And yeah, your intentions are you're perfectly in the right space. So yeah, let's keep marching on and hope to make an impact together, right?
Thank you. Thank you so much. John, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm gonna let you go because you're gonna have to get some sleep. You got a 15-month-old baby who's the size of a 3-year-old. That's crazy. I mean, that's healthy. That's a healthy boy. That's a healthy boy.
Yeah, he's a heavy kid, and you know what? This is probably a big faux pas, but I'm just gonna share one video with the audience here. I just thought was really
Yeah,
cute.
let's do it.
All right, so mom is playing hide and seek. I don't know if this is gonna like play off well because I'm just like showing my phone screen, but you know what? I'll do it anyway.
Let's just do it.
So let's see.
아싸. 그 순간적인 거. 아이고.
Oh,
Oh no.
he fell and hit his head but didn't cry. Oh, your screen just disappears. I don't know if something happened. But...
No. I wanted to do solo layout. Show me one
Oh,
more, or show the audience one more if you can, since I
okay.
have you in solo layout.
One more video. I'll just do the same one.
아싸. 그 순간적인 거. 아이고.
Oh, oigo.
He's okay. He's okay.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah. He can take a fall. He's fallen a lot. So.
What a tank. All right. John, thank you so much. I want to have you on later on this year. Just, best of luck with being a maybe not a new father anymore, but like, just with a young one and a growing family. And thank you for everything you do for the hobby with Center Stage. And I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for Center Stage.
All right. Hey, thanks so much, man. Same to you with everything, and hope you have a good rest of your night. Okay.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
listening, and we'll catch you at the next one. Take care.